So continuing on our conversation, it's got my mind really going into reconnecting people, especially children, with nature. And I say that as somebody with zero judgment for somebody that has grown up in a city, has absolutely no idea how to just be in the sun, how to just walk bare feet, soak in nature, grow their own food, feel connected to land. It's not natural to me. It's my own personal journey that's brought me here. But it's that feeling that I have now experienced having had the absolute lack of luxury in life. It doesn't, being connected with your own land and your own soul does not compare to anything that you can ever buy in a shop. It's not. And it is a process of learning that. And I know here at Kibala they have the Forest Initiative, which I'd really like to ask you more about. So yes. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Forest Initiative.
Before humans stepped into this planet, this earth was full of forests, full of beautiful rivers, lakes, ocean, sea, everything was pristine. And its human intervention has been the most devastating, hurtful entry, because we came with a certain kind of progressive, disastrous mindset that we want to change the way this earth is. So the more we populated this earth, that much more we destroyed forests in the name of feeding our growing greed. So where do we draw the line of what forestry is? And when I came into this beautiful land, I saw these coffee estates continuously grabbing more of forest land, and it may boost their ego with that they have more land for revenue crop like coffee. But where is this going to work if there are less rains on this our planet? Where are the forests going to sustain? So we need variety. We need who planted all these forests? We did not do it. They were there before us. So we are trying to say that we're going to grow forest sounds very, very unauthentic, because do we have the knowledge to grow a forest? So that means we need to understand ecology, and for that you need people who have the right awareness. So we have met one incredible being called Nagendra Bhatt, who is an incredible forester, who is a herbalist, who is an Ayurveda specialist, and it was a blessing. When I met him, he was 90 years old, and he would climb trees at that age. Mm-hmm. And he came here, and he was our greatest guide to growing a constellation forest, a star constellation forest. Like we are growing it now still, and it's each of these plants are in communion with the star. So 27 stars connecting to these plants, and they are channeling that starlight. So even the Ayurvedic principles is called Prachina Vana Nirmana Paddhati. It basically means it's an ancient way of growing trees which are in communion with the stars. These trees draw the energy and store it within the starlight, and they effuse it is a kind of radiant energy which is there in a forest, and that is called the galactical cosmic rays, GCR. Now GCR has been a kind of very rare. I've heard of such transmissions happening in the forests of Scotland and forests in Amazon. But how do we recreate that kind of,
GCR?
Yes, galactical cosmic rays. So when you have an organic forest which is in synchronicity, the masters who seeded this forest, they are aware of it. As humans thought that they could have a crop culture of even the growing the trees was for mass produce to feed the markets with more fruits. So they said we are the fruit basket of this world and start producing only one type of fruit in one place. So eventually what happened, is that we are disturbing the ecology. Everything is feeding on itself. So there is a, an organic approach to this whole forestry. First of all, how do we know that if you have a forest in place, there will be more lightnings coming to you? There are lightnings striking this earth every 4 seconds, and the lightnings are for enriching the soil. They convert the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates, which are enriching the soil. And we are here trying to debate our soil strength is depleted because we are growing one type of crop. We are using Monsanto fertilizers and seeds which are going to devastate the soil. So how are we going to have an organic approach? First of all, it should be intuitively guided, or you need an expert. You need an expert to tell us what to grow where, how to invoke that kind of soil strength and distribute that forest accordingly, so that all of the trees get enough sunshine, enough water drawing. So we cannot just grow randomly, we just because we felt it, so to appeal our manicured mindset. So we need to have that approach that we are not growing a garden. A forest grows on itself by the seeds are thrown by birds. They, certain herbs grow. They talk to these trees and they talk to these. There's a communion between the trees, and this is called the wood-wide network. Wood-wide network. The trees which are in communion, they will not fall by the wind because they hold the roots and they are reinforced. So all this knowledge and awareness is there in pockets, but it has not become the mainstream because we are so interested in just having a nice little lawn garden in our home. So if we were to come back to real forestry, one should have the acceptance that we are not going to kill bees, we are not going to destroy the spiders, we are not going to kill ant hills. So what is important is nature has its own way of functioning. We cannot grow ecology. Ecology happens. We cannot really grow a forest. A forest happens. But we provide the right atmosphere first by clearing the space for the natural influence of the insects, the worms, the birds, the frogs. Everything is important part of this. We cannot say that I don't like you, so I want only certain creatures to be there. These are all in harmony. It might look a very uncomfortable for us, but we are living in a nature, and then we want everything to be as per our conceived notion. But then the fact remains is we are to first remove this fear that what will nature do to us. Nature is never going to harm us. It is only as and when we raise the human frequency, we are in sync with nature as is and not as we want it to be. So that's where the big difference is. People have grown phenomenal gardens, manicured gardens, they look pretty, but the soul is gone. So a brilliant example that occurs to me is when I look at Switzerland and Kashmir. Kashmir's energy frequency is completely highly spiritually infused with all the master energies of so many thousands of years of meditation. And the spirit of the Kashmir's core is the spiritual heritage which has invoked that level of plants and flowers and herbs which are, I have never seen herbs of the Kashmir is the peak of topmost part of North Himalayas. Okay. So what happens is Kashmir's frequency and energy is not comparable to anything else because of it's not just the growing a pine forest. It is the quality of vibrational field which I didn't even see in very amazingly beautiful places like Switzerland.
Of course.
Yes. So to me that is a game changer. It's not about just having a forest. We have to have a certain frequency. That means we have to have fireplaces where we would meditate, have fire ceremonies. We're going to raise the vibrational field. We're going to have beautiful natural rains. We're going to not do any artificial seeding. We are going to create an atmosphere for various kinds of migratory birds to bring in their own seeds, bring in their own contributions. We're going to bring water from different sacred lakes across the world and contribute to a pool. So we are doing music festivals in open air. We are going to send such positive vibes to these plants, and when they know that they are protected and not going to be destroyed by human greed, that's going to grow into a very powerfully progressive ecological masterpiece.